Jumbo, fellow adventurers, Mike Dooley, welcome to another spiritual tune-up. This one's a doozy. Thank you for your questions. Thank you so much for the engagement, the sharing, the waving, the hearts. Right below on Facebook or Instagram, it puts wind under my wings. Thank you so much for allowing me to do this. The question that I have received several times since the beginning of these tune-ups back in March is pertaining to mental illness. In particular, depression and psychosis, schizophrenia, and the like. And do those folks who suffer accordingly, do their thoughts become the things and events of their life? And how can they turn things around when they are so helpless to the disorder to varying degrees? First off, I got to tell you the obvious. I am a recovering certified public accountant. I do not give medical advice. Continue to see your doctor and to take your medicine, okay? There's no shame there. We're all going through a heck of a lot, particularly with these energies and transition on planet Earth, the likes of which we've never seen in recorded history. Super exciting time to be alive, but one that tears us in different directions, and it is a lot to embrace. So, having said that, as I like to share as well, play both ends to the middle. Consider the woo-woo. Consider what Mike Dooley and others are sharing with you, but continue to do the tried and the true, the conventional approach. Play both ends to the middle, and then you take no risks, you take no chances. All right, so first off, depression. We have all felt depression to some degree or another. Of course, there's a scale, and it can get pretty darn severe, and I know virtually nothing about severe clinical depression. But in such instances, I do draw upon other resources, and while anybody espousing ideas on depression, of which I have no way of verifying, if all else they espoused was phenomenal and blew my mind and total common sense and has helped me live a better life, then I give it a lot of credibility. And as I so often quote, Seth, dictated by the late Jane Roberts. You can look up Jane Roberts as an author at your favorite bookstore. There are a lot of Seth books. Seth is one of the most profound founts of wisdom I have ever come across in the few years I've been on planet Earth. And Seth says about depression that it invariably stems from a feeling of powerlessness. That depression stems from a feeling of powerlessness. My hit or miss mild depression, I think that to the degree that everyone feels it, would certainly validate what Seth has said. And I think it could be extrapolated to any severe form of depression. Let me say, from my perspectives, my opinion is that when we have a jumbled mind of conflicting beliefs, feeling vulnerable, feeling that life is a test, feeling that there is no divine intelligence, or thinking that divine intelligence put you here to test you, judge you, and sentence you, and you only have one life to live, so you better get it right. Oh my gosh. That kind of scrambled eggs in your brain will lead to a sense of powerlessness, will lead to unpredictable manifestations and a lot of unintended manifestations, and will lead to chemical imbalances in your head that perhaps there's no better way to cure at this stage in our evolution than through medicine and counseling. By all means, go there. I would like to suggest that nobody think that they are a victim of wonky chemistry or wonky biology and it's just hit them randomly for no reason while other people got off scot-free. That is an abdication of power. That's an abdication of responsibility, and it's going to make it much harder to heal. So when it comes to any form of unpleasant emotions, to the degree prior to psychosis, I'll talk about that next. Prior to psychosis, any degree of unpleasant emotions, see yourself and your confused mind as the cause and approach it by asking bigger questions. Now, why do I see myself as vulnerable? Why don't I go out more into the world? What is holding me back? What's creating this resistance? What did my parents tell me with loving hearts that didn't serve me? And do this self-reflection while simultaneously doing the therapy and taking the medications to cover both ends from the middle. No harm will be done. There is no shame in seeing a doctor. I see doctors all the time. And generally we do in these primitive jungles of time and space at this early arc in our evolution. So do some self-reflecting. This does not mean it's your fault. This does not mean that I am blaming you. This does not mean any of those things where people say, oh, this is law of attraction, blame the victim mentality. Go look at my earlier tune-ups in March and April where I talk specifically about the failed, broken concept of blame the victim. Nobody's blaming anybody. We're adventurers here to learn of our power in this beautiful oasis where there are infinite possibilities and we are pushed on to greatness every single day. And every single day we get closer to that. You are healing. That you're listening to this right now is not an accident, and there are brighter days ahead. Let me speak a little bit to psychosis, of which I really know nothing, except that we are creators. The earlier question was, do people suffering depression or psychosis, do their thoughts still become things? Yes, there is just never a turnoff. Although, when it comes to healing from something like psychosis, which clearly was brought about by a gigantic, pivotal circumstance, violation, extreme, it's naive and hurtful, harmful to imply, well, thoughts become things, so just think some new thoughts and you're going to be better. That's just shallow and not reflective of what's going on. So while their thoughts still become things, if there's extreme psychosis and schizophrenia going on, I mean, there's it's like thoughts are firing in every single direction. And as we all know, and as I've read, in time and space, there's this safety catch. There's this delay in all manifestations so that you're not going from elephants flying and pigs flying and cars turning into porcupines and houses disappearing. There's a slow evolution for all manifestations, which safeguards us from all kinds of instantaneous chaos. Okay, so while somebody is firing like a pinball machine in their head, imbalanced, contradictory thoughts, they're not all becoming things simultaneously. It's the ones that they feel the most, that they move with the most, just like for all of us who are not in psychosis, that will ultimately become the things and events of their lives. So in these cases, when there has been some extreme condition that brought about the psychosis, which could have happened recently or in childhood or truly, literally in a prior life, there is such an imbalance, chemical and otherwise, brought about by earlier experiences that much more needs to be brought to bear to bring about a proper healing. Of course, doctors and psychiatrists and psychologists and the instructions that they may issue forth with a concerted effort by the person going through it and a will to the degree that they can muster it to make change and make improvement. I don't have much more to share on that. I think the question, if thoughts become things and somebody's suffering from psychosis, did they bring this on themselves and can they think their way out of it? It's much more complicated than that. And as I said 2 days ago, when there is something really difficult you want to extract yourself from, it's better not to even think about how did I get here, but to deal with here and go forward. And if it's somebody suffering from schizophrenia, then with their team and their loved ones, and maybe it's a loved one who asked this question, what's most important is not going back, but living in the moment and going forward. Joy, peace, calm, best medicine on earth. Nature, There is no such thing as a lost soul. Everyone can heal. Everyone is healing. Life is a non-stop healing. Everything is here for us. We're guided and protected by divine intelligence. This is happening in the heart of God. There are angels galore, and everything will be supremely well. So those things that really vex you and you just can't get a handle on, don't try to understand them. Know that there's order and do what you can to move forward from that with a glad heart. Woo! Okay. Thanks for all the questions. Post them below. The engagements, the shout outs are super appreciated. Please share with a friend if you like. I'm here every morning, Monday through Friday at 9:15 New York City time, even though I'm in Florida. And don't miss the chance to join me and Hope Koppelman for the 21-day writing journey that begins this Monday, not Tuesday, not September 1. I misspoke earlier. August 31, there will be one of 4 workshops conducted by myself and Hope. And then September 1, there's going to be daily writing prompts. Discover the gifts of writing, all right? Whether you want to be an author or go within and self-reflect to find your power. Happy Thursday, everybody. The best of your life so far. Hey, Susan and Steve on Facebook. And hello, Animal Reiki Lady and Debbie on Instagram. Glad you are all here. Taliho, amigos. Hasta la pronto.